So every year in fantasy football, you're faced with the same problem. It's draft day, pick by pick by pick, it comes up to your turn. You hear the beep, 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 and then you have to make a decision. You have to recall from your knowledge or from your sheet in front of you, who should I take and who should I not take? Part of the problem is that some of the information you're getting is not that helpful, not that good, or just leading you the wrong way. What can you do? You can watch this video, see the wide receivers that I tell you that I would absolutely not draft this year, and make sure you stick around for pick number 3 because it's going to make your head spin around because you've been hearing the wrong information on YouTube. So number 1 on the list being take the highest is JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba. He is going as pick number 27. A lot of people are really high on JSN and think that he's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. Why do I not feel that way? You're still going to have a bad offensive line. There's no two ways around it. Sam Darnold historically has not done very well under pressure. Vis-a-vis the Rams game in the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of times where he's going to be under pressure next year, and I don't necessarily always expect him to make the right decision. I do think that that will dramatically decrease the realm of high upside outcomes for JSN going into next year. The next big thing is that for this team, they want to win on defense. They have picked up so many defensive players between the middle of the season last year, free agency, and in the draft. I truly do believe that Seattle's main focus this year is going to be playing well on defense, trying to keep low scoring games, which is not advantageous for wide receivers. Again, all you have to look at last year is Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Why did they have great years? Well, because Cincinnati had to win games 45-43 to win football games last year. Number 2, they're going to rely a lot more heavily on their run game. Yeah, that would make sense. You pair your defensive-minded football team with a good run game, and you keep a low-scoring game running the clock, and they are set up to do so. They have Kenneth Walker. They have Zach Sharb. The other big issue that we're going to see this year, they just don't have anybody else on that team as far as wide receivers are concerned. DK Metcalf got traded. They released Tyler Lockett. They brought in an older, aged, very injury-riddled Cooper Kupp. So he is going to be set up in a worse position than he was last year. He's going to be playing in a situation where teams are really going to only have to stop JSN from catching the ball or making big plays, and they will win football games against the Seattle Seahawks this coming season. Because there's no other weapons, there's no field-stretching person on that team to make sure that he's not getting bracketed or double covered. And it is going to result in him having a lot less of an opportunity for big plays. Sure, he is going to be the number 1 target on his team. Sure, he's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of receptions, and great if you're playing in a full PPR format. He may be semi-viable as a wide receiver 2, but he's being drafted as a high-end wide receiver 2, swing wide receiver 1. And I do not think that there's any way throughout the scheme, throughout the fit, throughout the weapons around him, for him to finish the season as a fringe wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2. I think that this is a pick that you absolutely need to avoid if you want to win in fantasy football. At number 2 on the list is going to be Tyreek Hill. He's being drafted at number 26 overall, wide receiver 13. So what are my issues with Tyreek? Well, number 1, last year was a big fall off. The one thing I do know is when people show you or tell you who they are, you have to believe them. His production last year, even when Tua was healthy, was not at the same level. It just did not seem like Tyreek was 100%, did not seem like he was 100% healthy, quote unquote. You can blame a lot of it on the wrist if you want to. I just don't like it. I feel like we get farther and farther into players' careers. We hold on to the laurels of the yesterday when they were a number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. We're not there anymore. He's a year older. If we want to talk about scheme, I think that Mike McDaniels is going to continue to lean in on Jalen Waddle, who's younger, Devon Achane, who's younger. And if I had to have a prediction for this team, I would say that it is going to continue to go in that direction. They also haven't moved off Jonnu Smith at this point in time. If Tyreek Hill is continuing to lose a step, if he was losing a step last year and loses another half a step or full step this year, it is going to mean that he is still getting double covered, bracket covered, schemed up coverage just for him, which means that Jalen Waddle should be the beneficiary of a better season versus a Tyreek Hill if the scheme is the same as it was 2 years ago. Tyreek Hill is not a horrible pick, but he is absolutely a wide receiver that I will be swishing out of the way of because you are taking him as a wide receiver 2, almost a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, and I just do not want to take the risk on drafting Tyreek Hill. So number 3 on the list, he is currently going as wide receiver number 17. man, I keep on beating the dead horse with Marvin Harrison Jr., but I wasn't in on him last year based on his draft position, and I sure as heck am not in on him this year with his draft position. I do not want to take him as a top-end wide receiver 2. I do not want to take him anywhere around where he's going. I have to draft him before Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, and Rashee Rice? Absolutely not. Trey McBride is the #1 target earner on this team. That's not going to change. It's going to be the same way this year. It's going to be the same way next year as long as he's healthy. That is what it's going to be. People are like, oh, well, he bulked up and he's more muscular. Does that mean he can run faster? Because he sure didn't look very explosive or fast last year. Again, I said this before in other videos, but it's like we just don't learn from last year's lessons or the years before that. Marvin Harrison Jr. going as a fringe round 1, beginning of the round 2 pick last year was a horrible pick. The fact that we can sit here and be like, oh, he's that much better than Rome Odunze. He's that much better than Xavier Worthy. He's that much better than Keon Coleman. If you want to shoot your shot on a second-year wide receiver, feel free to shoot your shot on one of those guys or somebody else. The people who are putting him at this draft position, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly, and it's going to make some people mad. The reason he's going this high is because people want to be able to draft him again this year and say, I was just a year early. I didn't really make a mistake. It was just a year too early on him, but I got him again this year. And you know what? This is what they're going to say. If he hits, I knew it all along. I was right last year. If you watch these content creators who are propping him up like he's going to be something special, it's going to be the exact same thing of, well, I called it last year, but it was just a year too early. No. There's no avenue. There's no avenue for him to be a high-end #2 wide receiver in fantasy football. No way, no how. I will die on this hill, and I will be right on this hill by the end of the year. Next on my list at number 4 is Travis Hunter. Man, again, a lot of hate. There's just so much hate. When you say you don't like a player, people just lose their minds. People are on his nuts. I watched the tape. I watched Colorado live. People are doing a lot of speculation with this pick. You are saying that this gentleman right here is going to be a wide receiver 3. You're taking him at wide receiver number 30. I don't know if people forget, but there's 32 teams in the National Football League. Do I really believe that there are not at least 32 number 1s that are going to be better than Travis Hunter? Yes, I can almost confidently say that I do. I don't care what team it's on. Are there going to be a handful of number 2s that I think are better than Travis Hunter? Yes. There's quite a few of them actually who I think will be better number 2 wide receivers than Travis Hunter. Oh, speaking of number 2s, Travis Hunter is a number 2 on his team. Who's he playing behind? Oh, that's right, Brian Thomas Jr. Now, it's funny how many people are going to put Brian Thomas Jr. on like a little pedestal and be like, man, that guy is going to be a top 5, top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football. Okay, if we really believe that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be that, and I'm on the same page, I believe he is too, you cannot be this much on Travis Hunter's nuts. I don't like the prospect of taking a wide receiver this early who I am like throwing an absolute dart on because I have no true sense of how he's going to play. I have no true sense of what he's going to look like in the NFL. I have no true sense of how many reps or snaps he's going to get or targets he's going to get in this system, in this scheme, point blank, period. If you're playing in best ball, great. Run it, pick him, do your thing. Take your shot, take your swings. You're trying to win, whatever. I still don't support it, but if you want to do it in best ball, fine. If you're in redraft, man, let somebody else have him. Unless you can sit there and look me in the eye, look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, you can confidently say that you think that he's going to be better than a handful of wide receiver 1s and a decent chunk of wide receiver 2s on their respective teams, then by all means draft him. But if you can't, which if you're being honest with yourself, you can't, do not take Travis Hunter in your fantasy football draft. Hopefully this video helps you win your fantasy football league this year. If you guys have a hard time drafting other positions or you're not really sure who to avoid at other spots, maybe you're great at drafting wide receivers, but you suck at running backs, tight ends, or quarterbacks, I have other videos somewhere around here to help you with drafting those positions better so that you, again, can win your fantasy football championship in 2025. Hopefully you guys will see me again real soon. Until then, hope you all have a blessed day.